additional moment to get everything set up, but um, 2 to 5 teams. I know Jelly Squids is ready to prove that they are still mid-level by competing here in SAC this morning. Oh, gosh,
What did you say?
I said gosh.
Yeah, Jelly Squids is a team I'm super familiar with personally. I think I've fought against them in Ludi like 3 times, and I've played against them in Low Ink like 3 times. Like, I know I've fought against them a lot, and they're a very respectable team. I've never actually beaten them, I think.
Oh, yeah, they're a bunch of sweet, wonderful people.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Jelly Squids always the first team to sign up for any given event. They were the second team to sign up for SAC, so that's really fun. We really appreciate teams being timely and wonderful because it helps us learn more about you, right? Now, they're also a team that's been together for a fair amount of time. They were at LTC 2023, and I got to meet them in person, and they're just such sweet people. They were also at LTC this last year, so teams that they've lived a long time, they've been to a couple of lands together, they've been through thick and thin, and now they're here for SAC.
Super, super exciting. I believe we didn't know a whole lot about Peace Strikers. Like I said, we know that they're Division 5 as well, but regardless, we are going to be going to Splat Zone's Mahi, and I've been curious to know your thoughts about this one. Once again, I haven't been super into Comp Splatoon, like, for quite a while, since, like, around it got reworked. Which, yeah, I haven't gotten, like I said, since the map got reworked, but I've heard that since then, like, it's been like a year. I've heard it's a lot more popular now.
It's like top 3 zones maps. Like,
that's
you find
crazy.
It in every pool these days, right? And it started with a Chara top player poll, and all the top players were like, nah, Mahi's good, trust, and everybody else was like, all right, here we go. Now, this is an exciting map mode. We have double Splatling, one on each side of the field. Zoe and Mark both running a Splatling. I know that makes you super excited, Weave.
Indeed, indeed. We also are going to see a Forge, not something you see super often. Like a Vanilla Flingza, not something you see too often. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Big fan, big fan.
And here come these missiles out from Bonk. Bonk is going to be taken out by a member of Jelly Squids. However, you gotta remember that those missiles are gonna get extra value here on this map because of how tight all of these little corners are. NATO looks like they are trying to paint those walls, make it harder for Peace Strikers to re-engage. They do have this Wave Breaker ready to work with. Again, another special that's going to get extra value on this map in particular. The Zuka nearly gets NATO. Frankly, I don't know how Home Slice survives that, and the missiles do come out. NATO caught in that Zipcaster does manage to recall safely. 2 members down on Peace Strikers caught on their re-engagement. However, they have managed to apply that penalty so they can situate themselves for another go.
And they do have that cooler, so as they come out, they're going to be a little bit of an advantage. They can take a few more risks. They also are going to have missiles popping out soon, which will hopefully displace those players on the zone, allowing them to move it a little bit further. Headed coming in, as well as the Flings are doing a 1-2 combo, just getting rid of that heavy. Getting rid of that anchor is going to be really huge, but the time is ticking. They are going to continue to just keep on getting picks, and it looks like this Flings player might be trying to come around these players from behind and get a little bit of a flank off, which, you know, Muddy and Angelic over there did get cut off. Muddy is going to get that Booyah Bomb canceled. Yeah, that's rough. So these guys are solidly in control now, it seems.
Yeah, I will say Bonk playing like an animal that last exchange, letting their teammate on that heavy edit simply explode in favor of getting the next couple of kills. And Peace Strikers does benefit for it, right? They have these strikes waiting for Jelly Squids to drop. They do send those missiles out trying to stall this push, but it does look like Jelly Squids say, we don't care about those missiles, we're pushing in anyway. Peace Strikers does manage to quickly recap that zone in a 3v3 situation in mid. But not for long. Jelly Squids grouping up on that bottom left side do manage to cap again. This is a back and forth situation. Neither team having that much of an advantage as specials come out on both sides.
Jelly Squid's back in control, but who knows for how long, because these teams are very, like you said, evenly matched at this point. Cooler and missiles coming out. NATO's going to be trying to come up behind for a flank, just trying to be picking off that headed over there. The zone is completely stalled right now. Nobody's in control. Looks like Peace Strikers is finally going to get back in control, but once again, they have quite a bit of penalty to work through, and it's very hard to keep in track of who's at advantage, because just everyone keeps going down, socials keep coming out. Nobody's really gaining or losing ground at this point.
Right, but Peace Strikers getting close to clearing that penalty. They don't have that much time to catch up to Jelly Squids, but Jelly Squids caps and delays that penalty from breaking for just another moment. This really is a situation where it's death by 1,000 cuts or 1,000 missiles, depending on who you ask, when, and where. Bonk on this top left area. I can't believe how quickly this Flingza is getting those specials. The strikes come out to neutralize the zone. They manage to get the pick on NATO. Muddy goes down as well, taken out by Zoe on that heavy edit. A 2v2 situation again in mid. Every single time I look, there is a special on the field. There is a player down on both sides. This is a lot to keep track of, Week.
Sure is. Jelly Squids was in control, but now it's back to Peace Strikers. Like you said, super hard to keep track of. It looks like Jelly Squids are 2 down. That heavy edit isn't coming back, or is, really one of the only players on the field. NATO is going to be jumping right back in as well. Wavebreaker coming out, just a lot to look out for. Peace Strikers is only 2 seconds away from advancing, and finally they do start advancing. We are seeing some real solid change, as most of it is going to be finally cascading into that wonderful yellow color as Heavy Edit is advancing. It's just people jumping in. Man, a lot happening.
Both teams refusing to wipe in mid, but Peace Striker is finally, after so long, getting the edge up. They do pop those missiles, trying to find the members of Jelly Squids. We do see Muddy taken out on that right side. That is a wipeout in favor of Peace Strikers, and with those picks, they do take the game. Game 1 of our Swiss round 4 going on to Peace Strikers.
That felt like it lasted forever. Very dirty game, I feel like. A lot of individual skirmishes and just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. A lot of kills. I'd be interested to see in the kill counts of that game. In terms of, how many people were just going down constantly and coming back in and getting picks and then going down. Like, it just was a lot. And it was super fun to watch, but hard to keep track of.
Now, this is an important game for Jelly Squids. You gotta remember, we are heading towards our bracket stage, this being the last round in our group stage. Jelly Squids is currently situated for a bronze bracket position. If they manage to take this game, they could potentially, depending on how the other teams in their group do, find themselves in a silver tiebreaker situation. You get points depending on how you place in silver bracket. You don't for bronze for the overall circuit. However, Peace Strikers, they're a low-level team. They're hoping to get their first alpha bracket soon for low ink, right? If they manage to place into bronze at all, that is a huge accomplishment for them. And walking away with game 1 after what was looking to be a very exhausting Splat Zones Mahi Mahi game, they're setting themselves up good for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is cool to know how much is on the line for these guys, because they definitely played like there was a lot on the line. It was super frantic. Loved that. I'm wondering if that same energy is going to carry over to Rainmaker on Museum. Of course, it's not zones where you can just gain ground by throwing yourself into mid, because the zone, that's in mid. You don't need to progress further. I'm just interested to see Rainmaker, which is usually a kind of blitzy, really get a nice breakaway kind of mode. I'm really interested in seeing the massive pushes that I think these teams might get up to. Or it might stay in mid the entire time. Who knows?
Man, frankly, something I haven't seen in a long time in Splatoon 3 was just the sheer quantity of specials coming out from both teams. It was frankly constant.
I don't know how they had the time to keep paint when they're down so often.
They're just painting over each other. It's like C-Jet versus C-Jet on Skipper in S2, painting over each other in mid. That's what it felt like.
Regardless, it looks like we are going to see the Empire Duelies come out, and the Heavy Deco as well, which is something I always love seeing. Weapon I wish I saw a lot more often, just because it's sheer fun. Regardless, we see one of the, taking that secret entrance into mid, but not going to get a whole lot out of it, but oh wow, okay, what just happened there?
Oh wow, Zoe gets those 2 picks, pops this cooler, they have those missiles online, those are used, pushed back, so now is an opportunity for Peace Strikers to start working their way in, but they don't seem interested in touching a fish today, or at least for right now. Bonk looking towards NATO, it looks like 2 members of Peace Strikers turn to deal with that on the flank. They do get the pick, but that was such a beautiful opportunity for them to be pushing. After a near wipeout on Jelly Squids, they finally grab the Rainmaker, but at this point, they're in a 4v4 situation. NATO and Angelic and Mark all situated on their own plat, set up for a defense. With this Kraken coming out from Mark, that means that the longer Peace Strike is holding this Rainmaker, the more likely a stray bomb, some cheeky crossfire is to take out the objective. They do go for the dunk, and unlike Jelly Squids, they manage to break it this time around, losing 2 members in the process.
But it could be worth it, seeing how, long these teams have kind of been scrabbling in mid. Any points are good points, and they looks like they were not, they're not at too much of a disadvantage for it. They're still solidly holding mid. It's still all yellow. It's still really so far in their advantage. Jelly Squids, of course, is not going to let that last for long, as they're going to be rushing in, trying to get some picks, but they are 2 down. Could have been a little bit too early, and now looks like these guys are looking at going and popping the Rainmaker and getting themselves some more points.
Yeah, but Mark is there, or sorry, the Empires are there. Angelic with the splashdown. Bonk grabs the Rainmaker, tries to cheek it forward, does manage to stand up on Grace, gets it to 43 remaining. That is a decent push. If Jelly Squid doesn't manage to break their checkpoint, I mean, Peace Strikers has bought themselves a little bit more time, right? But realistically, that is one that is quick to fall. But it is Peace Strikers still in control of Jelly Squid's plat, and they do have these 2 Zukas to work with. Mark's Kraken expires. That means that they are going to go down, but they manage miraculously to trade with that Squeezer. Where is the Rainmaker? It should be about to reset any second now, Reef.
Yeah, but these guys are not gonna, they're gonna let it reset, but they're not gonna let that control of their plat go. No, that control is super, super pivotal for their any future pushes, and they have all players up. Muddy is coming out from behind and is looking to pop in themselves, and actually Jelly Squids is gonna be the one to get the pop, which is very surprising. They're gonna be jumping in. It looks like they might get this check unless some of the players notice. I mean, of course they noticed what was going on, and really decided to do something about it.
There's this large text that appears on your screen, right? They
True.
have the Rainmaker. It makes it pretty easy to turn if you're paying a little bit of attention. We do see Muddy does try and go for a cheeky ramp push, does get taken out in a 2v1. Jelly Squid's 2 members left standing, and it looks like they're fighting in mid. Gummy is going to be able to take advantage of that, does try and fight Angelic, does take advantage of their range as a shot player versus that zap. Sorry, I thought that was a squeezer, to be honest. Jelly Squid's still fighting in mid, and just the way I personally view this map is you want to be playing this plat to plat. The longer that Jelly Squids is setting themselves up in mid, the more solid of a defense Peace Strikers can set themselves up for. And we do see that with Mark being the only player left standing holding the Rainmaker. That's an easy cleanup for Peace Strikers.
Yeah, the Rainmaker can fend for itself, but only if it's in the right position, and at the bottom of mid, right by the spinner, is not exactly a good spot for you to be stalling by yourself and waiting for your teammates to come back in, which does lead to, now there's a bit more of a scrapple in mid, now it's a bit more neutral, and now Peace Strikers, as we've seen before, has a great opportunity to just get back up and really keep on going. Muddy's gonna be up here trying to make things happen on plat, and are these guys gonna finally be able to make that checkpoint? They sure are.
And this is where those couple of points that Peace Strikers got for themselves can really make a difference. They can take advantage of the fact that all they need to do is work their way forward. They do manage to get those 3 members of Jelly Squids, but the Rainmaker is alone on that plat. That's dangerous. You're fighting a brush. Thankfully, we do see Zoe is there to handle the reset. NATO not able to go around and pull some Rainmaker cheese, as it often happens on this map. The cooler does come out for Jelly Squids. It looks like they are still trying to take their fights in mid. They get the pick on the back line. That's huge, and the splashdown is out. That's the delayed 3 down for Peace Strikers. Jelly Squids can work their way forward. The Peace Strikers lead is so small. Beautiful, beautiful flank there coming out from Ruro in order to be able to stall the Rainmaker, but Jelly Squids, they Oh god, my life flashed before my eyes. Muddy does manage to grab the Rainmaker just in time, but it's just them and Angelic. One pick there. They know the Flings is on that backside spinner. If Angelic can clear this, that is huge. They are signaling a this way for their teammates to know, but P-Strikers running it down. They take game 2, and with it the set. Now they need to set themselves up for some very contentive tiebreakers for the bracket stage. Both of these teams, they're still not out.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that was terrifying for the P-Strikers, I can imagine, because out of all of the overtime scenarios in this game, that has to be one of the ones where, you feel the most confident that you can actually make it, because they only had a few points more to get. It's like an equivalent of like 15 feet that they would have to walk with that Rainmaker. They had a good amount of control, but I mean, the other tragedy of Rainmaker is that, if somebody just runs out and runs at you like that, there's not much you can do when you're at overtime, unfortunately.
I'm so glad you also use distance metrics in Splatoon. I thought I was weird for doing that.
I can imagine it.
Right? It's a visual. It's a tool. Oh, man.
15 feet is 15 feet.
Now, the situation has changed. Jelly Squids is walking away with a 1-3 situation. P-Striker is going to be sitting 2-2. Depending on how the tiebreakers shake out here, could determine where both of these teams end up in terms of their brackets. There are currently some 2-1 teams situated for silver bracket, so P-Strikers, if they take game 3, depending on how each other's opponent win percentages shake, how many individual games each team won, a lot matters. I know people here play all 3, and once you go 2-0, you're like, okay, it's fine, like, we won the set. It's not fine. Like, it really, really matters in this format.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of games, like you said, and like I was saying earlier, even the mental aspect of it as well. If you lose that last set, it can be like that last game. It can be like a little thing in the back of your mind, like, oh well, we thought we were doing so good, and then we lost. Would it have gone differently in different scenario? I know that's kind of the kind of things that go on in the back of my mind when I'm playing. Is every little bit, you try your hardest not to let that shake you, but any win that you get, you're feeling better. Any loss that you get, you're feeling a little bit worse. No matter how hard I try. I don't know about these guys.
You won the set. You played better than your opponent in the set. But did you play better than your peers in your pool? That's what the game 3 is about. It's about setting yourself apart. And Distinct showed that last round, taking game 3 over Triggerfish Zones. That sets them apart in their pool. Can Peace Strikers pull that off here for a clean 3-0, or is Jelly Squids going to say, that point matters?
We do see a bucket coming out. Sorry to disrupt the narrative, but I'm a big fan of that. I love Vanilla Bucket. It's so fun. Regardless, we're still seeing the spot links, everything out. And once again, this is Clan Blitz, which is always kind of a wild card mode. I really, really enjoy watching Clan Blitz. If you couldn't tell by how much I've talked about it so
Muddy
far today.
has changed their weapon quite a bit so far today, right? I believe we saw them on Shot the first game, then Emperies, and now we're seeing on the Bucket. That is quite the flex, but maybe this mid line is what they need into the Devil Shot Octobrush comp that Peace Strikers is bringing to the table. The strikes do come out. That's going to let NATO push up. We do see the strikes get one. Also, we know that, I believe that's Diamond has that power clam to potentially push. Sorry, that's Angelic on the Zap. Has that power clamp, but not for long. Beautiful zip cast coming out from Bonk in order to be able to force Jelly Squids back on their own foot before it even started.
And Muddy's gonna take the play, really just throw it back there. The goal right now is not to get a push. The goal is to take mid, and having that power clam on your support is not really gonna help out with that too much. So they're gonna make that play, just throw it back. And Peace Strikers looks like they are getting confronted quite a bit. Jelly Squids is not solidly in their defensive stance, but that is going to allow them to push. First push of the game, 80 points. We'll see how long this lasts as the tri-strikes go out. And NATO gets in there and is going to try to start picking people off.
Yeah, we did see that the Bucket player jumped out because they knew that they were going to need those strikes for defense. And that paid off, right? Getting the 74 is not a large push for Peace Strikers. So the ability to hold that like beautiful decision making from Jelly Squidge, from Muddy on that bucket to say, I have the special that can make this bad situation not a terrible situation. NATO does not manage to get a pick on their Zipcast and does get taken out, but trades Bonk on that top mid area. Peace Strikers getting a little bit close to that power clan, but they're losing one member in a staggered situation. Jelly Squids does have their power clan to work with, but they're really, really struggling to break out of their own elbow here, Reed.
Yeah, they do get a pick on Bonk, which is pretty big, and they are looking to chase down a few other players. They are, now they have the top, which is going to allow them to kind of cascade in. NATO does go down, though. They just keep on trading picks, but they are starting to gain a little bit of ground. Having that spotlight on those grates right there is a really advantageous position for them, because they can watch that ramp, they can watch the grates over there. It's just super good for them, which is going to allow them to hopefully hold a little bit more ground as they have a nice foundation to work off of.
Mm-hmm. It's still Peace Strikers in the lead with a very small push. We do see Gummy taking the 1v1 with Mark on top mid. Mark, their backline forced to back. That's a very pivotal defensive player down for Jelly Squids, and there's that midline as well. 3 down for Jelly Squids. Peace Strikers has a power cam to work with. They're opting to focus NATO. That's a little bit risky because NATO does manage to get that pick. We do see that the Aqua Brush on Peace Strikers does dunk that power clam before getting canceled out of their own Zipcaster, and it's just Roro left alone in that elbow, but not for long. Great pick from Jelly Squids, and frankly, great skirmishing from NATO in order to be able to pull the members of Peace Strikers away from what really mattered, and in that moment, it was pushing their elbow.
Yeah, like that push could have been disastrous if not played right, but that was really, really good defense, and now all they have to get is they just have to work on their offense for right now. Just making it in is the name of the game here for these guys. If they get in, it's getting sustained push is a lot easier than that just initial push. But it's going to be hard if Peace Striker just keeps on matching that aggression, keeps on pushing forward, all the way down to 45 points now, which is a little bit more to go up against.
Yeah, but they do have this power clam to work with, right? That'll get Jelly Squids, if they manage to dunk both of those two, at least 60. And those are the type of numbers that they can work with, right? Beyond those 60, then 60 to 45 is not that large of a difference. However, in order to be able to push to begin with, they need their members alive, they need some sort of special to break elbow, and then they actually need to win their fights, and that's just not happening right now. Muddy alone in that elbow. Again, this midline is supposed to be the opportunity to set themselves up for clean fights, but they're going to be taken out in a clean 2v1 against the members of Peace Strikers, who are barreling towards a KO. 5-6 power clams is enough to stall the basket here, but great cleanup from Mark to deny that. We know that there's still clams and elbow. That could be good for Bonk, but Bonk doesn't manage to win the fights here versus Angelic. This is Jelly Squid's one and done opportunity to come back from a massive lead here in overtime.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go and a whole world of map to cross. A whole team of players to keep down and suppress, and it looks like not quite gonna happen for them. Their last player, Angelic, is going to go down, which does really mark that going down, because even though NATO jumps in, can't be fast enough even on that super speedy brush to get a clam in time. Jelly Strikers is going to go down to Jelly Squids, sorry, is going to go down to Peace Strikers 0-3. Peace Strikers taking that set super clean, but once again, that was a great match. Jelly Squids really did put up a fight that was quite formidable there.
Yeah, beautiful plays from them there, and look at how the tiebreakers shake out. For Pool C, because they won that third game, which does in fact matter, because it set Peace Strikers above their next closest competitor in their pool. They're going right on the silver bracket. They're the bottom seed from Pool C into silver, which again is where you can actually manage to earn points. If they had not won that game, it would be subless squad working their way into silver. And so people asking, why is it play all three instead of best of three? That's why. Okay?
Yeah, it does. It would be really a nightmare if you had like 20 different teams that all went 6-6, or won 2 games and lost 2 games. What do? You can't really do anything, man.
That's a very hard situation to tie break. So We will be shifting over to our bracket stage very soon. It does look like most of our pools are